Welcome to Vegan Finds, where we're going to turn this to this. Weiskohl und Apfelsalat. Welcome to Vegan Finds, and tonight's side dish is going to be a traditional red cabbage and apple, I don't know what you call it. It's not a slaw. I guess a salad, but basically we're going to cook the cabbage and the apples together. Add a little bit of vinegar. This is a really simple dish. Just involves basically slicing up our cabbage real thin, adding some apples. Actually, we're going to add the apples to the pan first, then we're going to add the cabbage. But again, it's super simple. Adds that sweet tart element that the Germans really like. Adding that vinegar is going to give it that sour component. So, and that's going to pair up with our main course, which you'll find out is going to be Kartoffelpuffer, which is potato pancakes. It's one of my favorite dishes, and so those two are going to go hand in hand together. And I'm going to start by making the traditional German apple cabbage salad. Something. I don't know. If somebody can come up with a word for this, that would be great. It'd be very helpful, preferably before I finish this video. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to chop up our cabbage. I was going to chop up the apples, but the apples tend to brown a little bit quicker, and I want to make sure that our cabbage is already sliced up and ready to go. We can set that off on the side and then basically chop up the apples. And this is what I like to call No Measure Monday, even though it's not Monday. Basically, you want to just slice your cabbage up nice and thin so it cooks quickly. So I'm just taking what I would call a small to medium-sized head of cabbage. Here's the core. I'm just going to slice this part out because it's pretty tough, even though I'm slicing it thin. And this is a very small core, as you can see. I don't want any hard pieces in our little dish today. And then I'm just going to keep going here. I'm going to do this for the entire cabbage. And once that's chopped, I'm just going to set it aside. And then I'm going to do the apples. In my pan, which you can't see, but I will show you, is I'm going to add a good healthy dose of vegan butter and melt it. And basically what I want to do is make sure that the bottom of the entire pan is covered in melted butter. Then I'm going to slice the apples pretty thinly, not super duper paper thin, which I could do with this knife, but just thin enough. We're going to cover the bottom of our pan with the apples first. Then we're going to put the cabbage on top, let it cook down, mix it up, put a cover on it, and basically in 5 to 10 minutes it'll be done. Okay, so in my pan I'm adding about a quarter cup of vegan butter. I'm going to melt that down right now, and while the butter is melting, I'm going to start slicing up our apples here. And you want them fairly thin. About yay thin, so what is that? Looks like about 1/8 of an inch. You know, if it's a little bit thicker, it's fine. Again, it's not the end of the world here. Because you really want differing tastes and textures within your food. It'll make it more interesting, and that way when you'll be more satisfied as you're eating it, because it's not all going to be the same throughout your eating time. So I'm going to keep slicing these. Once they're done and the butter is melted, I will show you how to start cooking this dish. Okay, so you can see we have a nice melted bottom here. What we're just going to do is lay these out across the bottom, cover the entire thing. It's okay if you go more than one layer. That's fine. Oops. Got a little pit in there. Nobody wants that, so just keep an eye out. Sometimes pits get away from you. Now, you should taste the apple before you put it, into the thing. Is it a sweet apple? Is it a tart apple? Because if the apple's real tart, you're not going to want to add the apple cider vinegar to this. You're just going to want to keep it with the cabbage. If it's sweet like this one is, then you want to add the sour component. So I think we're good here. Yeah. I mean, I could eat some of the apple. Pardon me as I do that. I actually will err on the side of more apple than less. Alright, so we're good. Well, because I like apples.
What kind of apple did you use?
That kind of apple. I know it's organic. That's why I left the skins on. I want to say it's a sweet tango. You tell me.
I don't know.
You don't know? I thought you're the resident apple expert. So there's so many different varieties of apples now. I remember I didn't like apples because I didn't like the texture of the Red Delicious. So I wouldn't eat apples until I tasted a Macintosh. But even then, sometimes Macintosh could be a little bit funky too. But now you have like a million different varieties. They all have different flavor profiles. They all taste different. And it's fun to experiment with the different apples and how it changes the flavors of the dish. So we're going to let this cook until they just start to turn translucent. Once they do that, I'm going to add the cabbage and we're going to stir it up. And once we do that, we're going to cover it, let it cook down until it's nice and soft, and then set it aside while I make our potato pancakes. Okay, so our apples are basically ready to be treated to the cabbage. So I'm going to start adding the cabbage to our pan here. Now I know it looks like a lot, but I'm going to tell you that the cabbage is going to cook down quite a bit. Not as bad as spinach, but this will definitely shrink down. So I'm just going to get it all in here. I'm actually going to just give it a stir. Kind of want to get some of that flavor from the apple and the butter to start infusing into the cabbage here. You can already see it's starting to shrink. It's barely cooking. And I still have a little bit left in the pot here. And I have it on, I would say, a medium to slightly medium high heat. I'm going to turn it down shortly. probably on 1 or 2 clicks. But you want to start it out on a medium-high for the apples to get those going, and then bring it down to a medium temperature, whatever that is on your stove. Because every stove is different, electric, gas, you name it. Pots are different. This one has a pretty good conductivity, so it gets hot pretty fast. Doesn't stay hot as long as the cast iron pans that we have. I'm going to add the last of our stuff here. We're just going to let this cook now. Okay, so I'm going to put the top on, and every so often you're going to want to give it a stir. You want the cabbage soft, not crunchy like it is right now. The lid will help facilitate the cooking process here. There we go. I'll be back. I'll probably toss in a little bit of salt on top of that and a little bit of pepper. But right now it is good to go. I'll check back probably every 3 or 4 minutes. See, it's starting to cook down quite a bit. This has only been about 5 minutes, so we're probably in another 5 minutes, and maybe a little bit longer. Some of the bigger pieces are not quite soft yet. This will be done and ready to go. So I will show you the final product shortly. Okay, so our cabbage is now done. I'm just going to add like a capful of our apple cider vinegar, just to give it a little bit of extra zing. I tasted it. It needs just a touch of salt, which I'm also going to add right now. As you know, we don't really use too much salt, so I'm just going to do a little pinch. Going to give it a stir. And a little bit of a taste. Make sure we got our flavors right. That's good. Nice and delicious. So, there you have it. We got some apple cabbage, I don't know what to call it. Warm apple cabbage slaw. How about that? Warm apple cabbage slaw.
What's the German word for it?
I don't know what the German word for cabbage is. I should know, but I don't.
I should call your mother and ask your mother.
Oh, I could do that. Hey, how about that? That's what I'm going to do. You're gonna hear my mom's voice right now. Siri, call Ed Fine home.
Calling Ed Fine. Home.
You're going to hear probably a lot of watts.
Hi, Stu.
Hi, Dad. How are you?
Okay.
I've got a question for Mom, so could you please put her on the phone?
Sure, hold on.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi, Mom. What is the German word for cabbage?
Weiskohl.
Weiskohl?
Weiskohl.
Weiskohl.
And what's the apple word?
Well, I know what apple is. It's Apfel. Okay. That's all I needed, Mom.
What are you making with cabbage?
We're making Apfel Weiskohl Salat.
Oh, Dad would be like poof, poof, poof. Excellent. So, are you making that for Mutti?
I can save you some.
That would be wonderful.
Excellent.
Great.
So, Mom,
Other
can I ask you to do me a favor?
yes.
When I post the video on YouTube, can you go to YouTube and actually like one of our videos?
Stop.
I'm so, I'm so sorry that I haven't. I will do that.
Stu, stop.
I will say it in both languages.
Oh, excellent. That's exactly what we want, because we're doing Oktoberfest week and we're gonna be posting the videos.
And you know what? I'll give you some emails,
Okay.
and you could write to Gert,
Oh.
to with Andy and Mela,
Uh-huh.
because they all speak English, and to Max
Okay. Sounds good.
for cooking.
Excellent.
Okay.
Thanks, Mom.
When is that Oktoberfest? Where's the beer?
I'll bring you some beer. Okay.
Dirndl.
I'll bring you some beer. Okay.
No, I mean Dirndl.
Oh, you want a dirndl? That I can't help you with.
Dirndl. Dirndl is the little Bavarian outfit.
I know what a dirndl is.
Okay, I'll let you go.
Okay. Bye,
All
Mom.
right, I love you. Thanks.
Love you too. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye. So there you have it. We got Weiskohl und Apfelsalat. So if you like these videos, please click subscribe, leave a comment, click the bell for notifications, give us a thumbs up, follow us on Facebook, follow us on TikTok, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, and we'll be back with Kartoffelpuffer in a moment.